I guess I believe in what I do, but I don't believe in other people, and they are what I need in order to achieve success. This was an amazing share from one of the beautiful creative souls who's actually in my private community. So I will share a slide of the comments, but as you can see, I've taken the identity out just to really protect the authentic and vulnerable comments and shares that we have within the community. But I know that this comment is something that is going to resonate with so many people, and so I wanted to bring it onto the channel because it really ties into the law of attraction and the common mistakes that people make with the law of attraction and why they can feel really disheartened with their spiritual practice. So as you can see, let me read through the share here. I've recently come unstuck because I believed 100% that the show I did in August was going to be a massive success. I felt so confident. Then when it was the complete opposite, it knocked me for 6 and is partly why I'm still struggling now. Afterwards, I didn't want to do any meditations, visualizations, or affirmations because I was scared of getting let down. Beforehand, I'd felt so much power in them that I believed anything and everything was possible. But I worried afterwards that it was just me having a great imagination and my wishing, hoping, believing was unrealistic. Thing is, I love being in that place where I believe everything is possible. I'm just scared to go there again when I still feel vulnerable and fragile in my self-esteem, self-belief. I guess I believe in what I can do, but I don't believe in other people, and they are what I need to be a success. Let's just take a moment to really reflect on that share. If you're watching this video and you've got this far, chances are that it's really resonating with you. This idea of, can I trust my imagination? Am I just being unrealistic? I thought this whole law of attraction thing was meant to be an incredible, magical experience. How could I have 100% believed in something and then been 100% let down? And does it matter if I believe in myself, if I'm in a position where I need other people to buy products or services from me? Like, what's the point in believing in what I do if people aren't believing in me enough to want to buy from me? Let's start with a really beautiful, powerful principle that is an absolute guide for me, and that is the outer world is a mirror of what's within. I come back to this time and time again. Let's say I've just finished an inquiry call from a potential new client and they have said no. I come off that call and rather than go into a tailspin, which is where I used to be early on in my business of what's wrong with me, it doesn't matter how good I am at coaching, if people don't believe in me to want to sign up with my program, that can be a very disempowering and frustrating and upsetting place. If I step back and say, okay, what's being mirrored? If the outer world is a mirror of what's going on within, in what way am I saying no to myself? Now, often there can be some resistance here, and you can see in the comment, there was a phrase, I believed 100% in myself. So often I might have this resistance of like, I'm not saying no to myself. I'm completely believing in myself. So what we want to understand when it comes to the law of attraction, there's a difference between what the ego is telling us and really what that unconscious mind is holding within its memory. So the ego might be saying to us, I'm fantastic, I can totally do this, but unconsciously we could still be wobbling. And it's really powerful to understand that, because if we keep pushing through saying, I don't get it, I totally believe in myself, rather than saying, okay, the world is mirroring a no to me, in what way am I saying no to myself? When we come to that place, we're in a position where we can make a shift. And as you can see from this incredible share, Until we make that shift, we're going to be afraid of our imagination, we're not going to trust ourselves, and we're going to step away from a spiritual practice. And really, it's that spiritual practice that is the only thing that is going to guide us into that place that we truly desire. So that's the first place with the law of attraction. If you're getting really frustrated because you're like, wait, here am I think I'm trying to attract financial abundance, or I think I'm trying to attract exciting new opportunities, but I'm getting the opposite. It's to tune in and say, in what way am I not believing in myself? In what way am I saying no to myself? I think when we come into also asking, what is my audience, or what are my readers, or what is the world teaching me when it comes to the law of attraction? Again, we've got an opportunity to learn more. I certainly know in my own experience that when I find out about the law of attraction, I was like, oh my God, like this kind of, this magical wand, this thing where if you just focus on what you want, it appears. We can then get quickly disappointed where we're like, well, look, I was focusing on attracting abundance into my life and it hasn't come. Therefore, the law of attraction doesn't work. Let's imagine going into a classroom to learn something. So let's say that you want to learn Spanish, and you go and you take a class and you leave the class and you walk into a Spanish restaurant and you're not able to understand 100% what everybody is saying. It would be pretty crazy to be like, well, that Spanish class was crap. It hasn't taught me how to understand Spanish. It would be nuts, right? We have to understand that we just took one class. We can't expect to understand the entire Spanish language from taking one class. And it's exactly the same with the law of attraction. We've got to learn and we've got to acquire more knowledge and better skills. So the first time we try the law of attraction, often what we get is a lesson that says, you're not quite doing it right. Sometimes what can happen, and I've experienced this with myself as well as with my clients, is that we practice the law of attraction and we actually get a yes, and then we get a no. Now, this can be really interesting. So, for example, I was recently doing part of my law of attraction practice, which involves holding ceremonial fire. And I was holding ceremonial fire. I was in a place where I wasn't sure what I wanted to attract into my life next. So the ceremonial fire for me is a really great space to create an energetic shift, to open up and invite something to come to me if I don't know what it is. So I held the ceremonial fire as part of my shamanic practice. And I went to bed that night, and the following morning I woke up and I had an email from a self-publishing company inviting me to write a guest blog and to be their expert of the month. I got the message loud and clear. I got the message that the next phase for me was to attract publicity. And that feels great. It feels great to step into my status as an expert, as a coach for writers and entrepreneurs, and to start sharing my knowledge with a larger audience by doing guest blogs. The following day, I had an invitation from someone whose podcast I greatly admire, asking me to be a guest on their podcast. So I was literally rubbing my hands at this point. I was like, this whole law of attraction thing is so fantastic. Then a week later, one of my clients emailed to say that they no longer wanted to be a part of my coaching program. And I stepped back and I thought, what the hell is going on? I thought I was in this whole perfect law of attraction place, like I'm attracting publicity. How is it that I'm losing a client? Now, here's where we can either learn the lesson or really succumb to egoic thinking or negative thinking. The old version of me would say, well, there we go. The law of attraction just doesn't work. It's not consistent. But the new me who knows about this work and knows about the importance of learning a lesson was able to sit and say, what's this teaching me? So rather than shake my hand at the law of attraction, I welcomed the lesson that it was giving me. It had proved that it was in alignment because it was sending me publicity opportunity, but it had taken a client away from me. when I sat with it, the insight that came was so beautiful. This was a very old client that I'd been working with, and the membership or the package that they had signed up for, it's actually a package that I no longer do, and it's a significantly cheaper package than the package that I now offer one-to-one clients. So it was really clear. Publicity was going to come my way, and I needed to open up and receive more of that. And I also needed to understand that any clients who weren't in alignment with the packages and the work that I was offering were going to fall away. So let's come back to the example. We can have this 100% confidence that what we're going to do is going to bring us results, but then we don't get the results that we want. So then we step back and we say, what's this teaching me? Now, sometimes what the law of attraction is teaching us is that we're simply not ready. A nice way to understand this is to have an analogy of, say you wanted to attract a ton of gold into your life. Now, that ton of gold might come flying into your life. So you really believe that you want this gold. You're like, I'm absolutely certain that I want this gold. Who doesn't want a ton of gold? And the ton of gold comes flying into your life and it lands in your arms. What's the first thing that you're going to do when a ton of gold lands in your arms? You're going to drop it because it's going to be too heavy for you to hold. So that's, to me, the beauty of what the law of attraction does, is it teaches us so that we can grow, so that we can be ready for what we truly want when it's ready to come to us, i.e. we can grow our muscles so that when that ton of gold does come, we're not going to drop it. So let's say that you are planning a launch. Let's say you're planning a book launch, or you're launching a new program, and you're 100% confident that it's going to be really successful. And yet when you launch that product or when you launch that service, nobody buys. It's so powerful to then take a step back and say, what has this taught me? In what way am I not yet ready? In what way do I need to grow my strength to be able to handle what it is I'm asking the universe to bring my way? Also, in terms of my example where I lost a client, it can be also really useful to understand that when you ask for something to come to you, something is going to fall away. Because if you're holding something, you haven't got your hands free to catch what it is the law of attraction is going to bring your way. So to understand that there is a letting go or a falling away, and often the mistake that people make at this point is to try to grab back what's fallen away. And then of course you're sending a mixed message. Here was I holding ceremonial fire, really opening up to the energy of taking a new step in my business and inviting in a new direction, which is exactly what I was doing. As a coach and a spiritual entrepreneur, I'm really feeling exciting with working with a certain type of client. So it made complete sense that this old client had chosen to no longer work with me because they were not aligned with the direction that I was going in, and they were paying for a package that I no longer offer. So I now have a free space. I have a free one-to-one space for a new client to come in, which will most likely happen as a result of this new publicity I'm doing, who's going to sign up for the package that I currently offer. Hopefully you've seen that with the law of attraction, sometimes it does give you that sign of like, yes, it's working. And then sometimes there is something that you have to lose, or sometimes it can bring a disappointment or a setback to show you that you're not quite ready. There's still work to be done. And also it's going to mirror to you the level of your belief. Are you saying yes to yourself? Are you believing in yourself? If we're relying on others to believe in us, what that says is that we don't yet have that full belief in ourselves. What's resonating with you? I'd love to know how you feel about the law of attraction, and if you understood these certain practices and mistakes, this idea that the law of attraction can teach us, the law of attraction can take away in order that we have space to receive. What insights have you got as I've been sharing this? And if you feel drawn to come in closer to be a part of this private community, you'll find much more information about the community with a link below, the Right No Matter What community. You'll be able to sign up and have access to me live, access to my guidance, and access to my spiritual insights that will support you as you make progress as a creative, as a writer, or as a spiritual entrepreneur. Felt really precious to share this content with you today, my friend. Really wishing you a beautiful rest of week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.